maybe the last one to kind of round it out could be taxes, some risk around there. We see, maybe you see higher taxes going forward, or if you have a pretty large estate, you see estate taxes that can hit you on the back end. That one's really a moving target because, I mean, with each presidential or administration that comes through, you're going to see a lot of changes going on with that one. I think in regards to that one, you can only really plan with the data you have in front of you. You can try and plan things, and then 2 years later it could change, or 4 years later it could change. And so that one you really have to kind of have a moving target on it and do the estate planning aspect of things from the estate tax perspective, because I think that's the biggest piece to the tax pie. Because in retirement, most people, if they were higher income earners, are actually at a lower tax bracket because they don't have nearly the amount of income that they have coming in, or maybe they're using investment accounts and they're being taxed at capital gains rates, which are currently around 15 or 20% versus a corporate rate if they were, or a individual or joint family rate if they were at the higher end of the bracket at close to 40%. So most people see a pretty good tax savings. So that piece, important to plan around. But I think the estate tax one is what really gets people when you're looking at taxes and the risk around there. Carson, you're a CPA. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it's it's kind of like one of those things where you are you're getting ready for a baseball game in the first inning, the starting pitcher, and it's like, okay, let me warm up and get ready for the closing pitcher. That's not the case. You still have to play ball for the first 6 or 7 innings against the starting pitcher based on what you know right now. And the tax rates and what we know right now, yes, there's all this talk and stuff about what tax rates are going to be. We know the Trump tax cuts are going to expire at 2025. How do we plan on what we know right now? Because that's the only thing that's for sure. And as we've seen in past years, there is so much talk from Congress and presidents what they're going to do about tax rates, and large majority of it never even sees the light of day. It's never even discussed inside of Congress. So I would say the best thing you can do when it comes to taxes is make your financial plan based on what you know now. And where the tax rates are at now. Now, if we're at a point where Congress is closing in on a deal and it's, the likelihood of something getting passed is extremely high, then obviously you start taking those considerations into account. But more than likely in those situations, there's usually like a year where it's like, okay, we passed this is going to go into effect next year. Okay, now we have some time to plan for this year. Do we want to do anything this year before these effects come into play? And there's no way you're going to look back of like, you're 80 years old and you're like, dang, if I would have at 65, I should have did this to my IRA, because how would you have known to? So that's, my 2 cents on taxes.
Any opinions are those of myself and not necessarily those of Raymond James. Expressions of opinion are as of this date and are subject to change without notice. The information contained in these podcasts do not purport to be a complete description of the securities market or developments referred to in this material. The information has been obtained from sources considered to be reliable, but we do not guarantee that the foregoing material is accurate or complete. Every investor situation is unique, and you should consider your investment goals, risk tolerance, and time horizon before making any investment. Prior to making an investment decision, please consult with your financial advisor about your individual situation. Any hypothetical examples are for illustration purposes only. Actual investor results will vary. Raymond James does not provide legal or tax services. Please discuss these matters with the appropriate professional.